We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bauomi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. It's a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador. Mr. Ambassador, can you hear us, sir? Good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ambassador. And of course, today we witnessed the President's greeting on the occasion of the 23rd of July anniversary, the 70th anniversary for this revolution. How do you see the 23rd of July revolution really changing life in Egypt, Mr. Ambassador?
It is the story of the life of my generation.
Yes.
And of course, I was still young. I was in the secondary school. And we look to the revolution as a new opening for a new Egypt. Egypt deserves much better than it was, where it was full of poverty, of ignorance, and many aspects of the poverty. And it was a sort of a new aim to have better life. 1,000 factories, 1,000 books were translated. I really enjoyed this very much during my life at the university, and we win a lot as citizens. Then the equality, one of the principles of the revolution, made a gentleman like myself coming from Damietta join the diplomatic career. That was a fair exam. Still, joining the Egyptian diplomacy is a fair exam and a fair way to join it. You have all sorts of people in our diplomatic career. Many other jobs, of course, were available for the layman.
Indeed. Mr. Ambassador, speaking about, diplomacy, of course, we also saw President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's visit yesterday and his summit meeting with the French President Emmanuel Macron. A very important visit with lots of very important issues discussed between the two leaders. How do you see the importance of the French President's invitation to President el-Sisi and some of the issues on the agenda of their talks, Mr. Ambassador?
It is, of course, a translation of the very wise Egyptian policy. Egypt is maintaining a very wise policy where we became one of the most crowded capitals in the world, Cairo, with foreign embassy. The number of embassies in Cairo does not exist in many other capitals. Meanwhile, the embassies in Cairo are the largest of their countries. Look to the American embassy. They have diplomats in the American embassy, even much more than the whole Egyptian diplomatic representation, the whole world. Look at El Giza, at the River Nile, the building of the Arabia Saudi embassy, where there is a small airport on top of the building, where it's taller than Minister of Finance. That the relations is very wide, very deep, and we have now very good relations with all the countries of the world.
Yes.
I recall when Nasser, Tito, Nehru, Sukarno, and those great leaders established a group of 77, the group of the developing countries. The group 77 now is 139 countries, which is the largest group in the United Nations.
Yes.
They vote with us automatically whenever we need them. So then we have a very good relation with the West, the United States or Europe. We have very good relations with the Russia, China, or the Eastern Bloc. Of course, we are in the heart of the Arab world and in Africa, of course. And Egypt is one of the most accepted faces in Africa, because we have a common history of liberalization. We have the Al-Azhar al-Sharif, it's there. We have our church, which is very well respected in Africa. We have many reasons to be accepted in Africa. Of course, in the Arab world, Egypt has maintained its leadership in the Arab world as the largest Arab country, as the strongest army.
Yes.
Many things is tying us with all these countries, especially also what we call the culture and the education relations. It's very good. Thousands of our brother countries are studying in Egypt.
Yes.
Many leaders in the Arab world and Africa were educated in Egypt.
Indeed.
This is really what we are proud
Absolutely.
of about our
Yes.
foreign relations.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Ambassador. And I'd like to move back to President's visit to France, and Egypt's pivotal role in the Middle East and the Mediterranean was really part of the discussions between the Egyptian and French leaders, and they discussed issues related to the situation in the Middle East. We're talking about Syria, Lebanon, Libya, etc. How important do you see these discussions, especially as the French president stressed the importance of the Egyptian role in maintaining security in the region?
I look always to the Egyptian-French relation as a story of success, which changed the state of being enemy in 1956 and invading Egypt, or during the Napoleon time, but he added to our culture, of course, some very important studies. And now we are alliances. We have a very important agreement, which is the association agreement between Egypt and the 27 countries of Europe. On top of them, France and Germany, they are the leaders of this group. And especially France, we look always to France, and immediately we discover that France added a lot to our economic development.
Yes.
The underground, for instance, some addition to the field of electricity, the field of telecommunications, many fields France is cooperating with Egypt. And now education also. Don't forget that the French language is one of the main foreign language which we are using in our foreign policy.
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Ambassador, another topic agreed upon between the two leaders was the economic cooperation between Egypt and France, especially in light of things related to food and gas security and supplies with regards to the international situation with the Ukrainian crisis. How important was this part of the discussions between President Sisi and the French President Macron?
It is very important file also, especially after these two problems of the epidemic of corona and the war in Ukraine, which put us facing troubles, which are the lack of gas and energy and the lack of food. Now Egypt is discovering a new discovery in the Eastern Mediterranean. Egypt is making enormous development in the electricity energy. We are combining the electric net from far east of the Arab world in Baghdad up till far south, up till far west in Casablanca. And we are on the point that the European Union and France agreed that Egypt will export energy to Europe, whether it is electricity or gas, especially in this very special time where we have a serious problem concerning energy. So it's a sort of complementation between the two economies. One will be a good branch to the other. And I hope that we can, in such a very important event like this meeting, with the presence of our concerned ministers, that we can widen our cooperation with France, with Europe, of course, and we shall explore new areas where we can cooperate in many other fields.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Your Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bauomi, former Assistant to Foreign Minister. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us this afternoon.